First up, let's talk about cloud subscription licensing. Now, those of you who went through Module 6, lesson number 3, I believe it is, where we discussed the Meraki licensing, will already understand this. We will have a start date associated with this. Remember, this is on an annual basis, and that date starts from the date of purchase. Because this is cloud-based, because of that management that's centrally located, that is what's going to drive the, the Meraki licensing. So as you can see here, we have the key for this particular one, the claimed at, the type, the edition. Well, let's forget about that, right? This is too much. Let's actually go out to my environment and take a look. It's a little better. So we have our wireless. Let's look at our organization and let's look at our license info. So when we take a look here at our license history, you'll see that we can see the different licenses in our environment. Right now we have a license. You can't see this key. We've covered it up, so you will not be able to see that. You see the start date when we claimed it. It was claimed at 12/11 at 9:47 a.m. And we had it done through add device. The addition of this licensing is enterprise. The devices is 2 wireless APs for the term of 1 year. Now, what happens if I start adding licenses here? If I add more APs, well, those AP licenses will be added through these keys. And if I continue to do that, our licensing will continue to grow. So again, our license limit for our system management agent is 100. Our wireless APs, we have 2 currently licensed. Our license status is okay. We would see that not okay if we were expired at the moment. So our other types of licensing is, remember, that's subscription-based or cloud. Our device type, this is specific to our device type. If I buy MX, which is cloud switch licensing, that only works for MX products. It will not work for MR products, which are APs. Organizational wide licensing applies to the organization by device type. We just mentioned that. Co-termination means if I continually buy Meraki licenses for Cisco APs, what they're going to do is they're going to take the end dates and begin to average them out among all the different APs. So if I have 6 months left on an AP I currently have, I buy another AP that has 12 months left, I'm going to get an average of 9 months because it's going to average out. So my license will be valid for both APs for 9 months. So I gain 3 months on one AP and lose 3 months on another. It's actually a really good way to re-up your license in a growing environment. Renewal licenses to cover number of device types. Remember, this is specific to your device type. And last but not least, these are non-transferable. When we're talking about cloud infrastructure, I can't take another license and move it to another piece of equipment. It is stuck to the piece of equipment in which I purchased it from. So that brings us to the next one, AirOS. Now, AirOS is a different implementation. We talked about this, and this can be pre-installed. All features are supported on the base license. So I'm gonna purchase a license that's gonna come in my image, right? Whatever image I have, that licensing is gonna be in that image. Licenses are associated by wireless LAN controller serial number. So if I have a serial number in my environment, it's going to be associated with that wireless LAN controller. APs counts can be added through GUI. Now, we cannot exceed the AP count provided by the license we purchase. If I purchase a 50 AP license, I am stuck with a 50 AP count, except in the case of HASKU configuration that we talked about. That's when we're purchasing a license for a wireless LAN controller, and that wireless LAN controller is not the primary, but a dedicated secondary infrastructure. In this case, when it's configured as an HASKU wireless LAN controller implementation, I can buy the minimal licensing, but it will support the maximum number of APs supported by the equipment. But this is only on a temporary basis and only as a secondary. not be configured as a primary. So there's a big change in licensing there. One of the cool little licensing features that is available to us from the Air OS. Now, iOS licensing has RTU built in with universal images. So every license you have or every image you have has all the features. Then you have to build in the RTU is built in. Single CLI to turn on any license level. So we use the CLI to enter our licensing. Customer agrees to EULA and license is activated after a reload. Really, really simple process with the iOS XE. Now, even though it's a simple process, we can use a PAC product authorization key to upgrade at any time. One of the things that I would like you to note about the iOS XE is that licenses are indeed transferable. I can transfer from one piece of equipment to another to have that license used with a particular iOS.